This is Justin AMZN for Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. Taking a look at the 5 minute here. Right as we opened up, we were right below the 1815 price. Had a very small retest into it. Today being a bearish retest gap from yesterday's bearish candle. And that moved very quickly down and then had a little bit of a retracement here, kind of a flag, and then continue moving up. And it had a really nice hammer right on 1815 again, and then even a really nice smaller hammer here and another smaller hammer here. Let's zoom in on that. So there's a hammer here, inverted hammer, inverted hammer, inverted hammer, indecision candle, squeeze was on that candle, making lower highs, and then right here making higher lows, but really just starting to roll over. This was a bit of a double top, retested a little too far for a neckline, and as this is happening, it's like, man, this looks like it's about to just kind of roll back over. You got this candle as resistance, a couple high wave candle, well, not high wave, but very large lower wicks and just no body on these, and shows that there's some selling, or there's some buying that's come in after it's been sold down, but just a lot more bearishness even through all this, showing this looks like it's just going to roll over, and it did, and didn't quite make a new low in the day. Came pretty close with this lower wick down here, but this turned into a really nice hammer as well. But if we just jump over and look at the puts at the open, and then at the 10:10 time, and then at the 11:20 time with this the hammers, I think it'd be interesting. So right at the open, you had still had a little bit more premium before a couple hours had gone by. An hour and a half had gone by, and so really it would have been difficult to be buying this. Yesterday's close was just a little bit above here, and so you would have just had been reacting very quickly or have an order set up to just get in bearish. And it's possible, or maybe you got in on a retracement here, but probably the 1800 puts would have been a little bit harder to get into with a $100 risk right at the open. So if you did that, great. That worked out nicely for 2R from or more than that, from 13 up to 15 or 16, something like that. But had you waited, and the 10:10 price was here, came right into the $10 range, $9 to $10 range, and then the 11:20 price was right here. It was actually about the same price here and here. It was below $10, and then actually happened again right at $10 at 11:55, and that was 11:55 was that candle. So this candle, which felt like it was retracing a little bit too far, after it started to roll down, retracement, really nice morning star or evening star reversal here, comes right back up to this shave top, I think. Yeah, they open it higher the same. So right up to that shave top at 1813.41, puts in a price 1813.51. So got 10 cents above, and then had a close that was 3 cents below this candle. So that was it. That was the last bit of the bullish move here before it just rolled over. And on the puts, anywhere in this hour and a half, 2 hour time frame, I guess hour and from 10:10 to 11:20, you got 70 minutes to be buying 10 by 9, and then possibly could have been filled here 10 by 9. I don't know if you would have been filled at that price. So for nearly 2 hours, it was trading near the $10 price. 10 by 9 was a great setup, and just holding on to that until it just ran up to 2R pretty quickly here, or pushed above this pivot at 14. This was at the 9:30 time frame, so that was in through here, as I think it pushed to this level or a little bit further here. So anyway, just a lot of opportunities to get in bearish, and to get in at a price that was just holding steady. And the 10 by 9 is just a really nice price to see that happen. Then just chopped through the rest of the day. Had a little bit of a move up, and then just went sideways here until it actually rolled over again right into the close. But by then, you'd already made we had already gotten the big move of the day here, and I guess the only other place to be getting in was off of a hammer here, or maybe a retracement here on these lows. That would have been looking at some of the calls. So this is 1825 call. So that could have worked. If you didn't get it on this hammer, doing something like 9 by 8, or looking for that 9 by 8 or 850 by 750, and that moved up, to 1050. So that could have worked to get in on this little bit of a bullish move right here. So getting in as it retraced to the same level as this candle, just within the hour later, and then riding that bullish up until 1815. So it makes sense that it would retrace a little bit more. It was getting held down by the 21, and once it broke through that, it moved very quickly. And so if you're waiting to get in bullish above here, you're really too late. You really need to be buying down here, retracing to this high wave candle. But being a bearish retest gap, it makes more sense to wait for that bearish move to, or wait for the retest to play out to take the bearish move. Yeah, so that's how things worked out for today. And you can see we pushed down a little bit lower here. We're still losing that bearish momentum. When we were losing that bearish momentum back in June, we were moving very quickly bullish, and we were losing this very quickly. Now, right now, we still have bearish candles. We're moving, losing this bearish momentum much more gently, it seems, and it still leaves room for it to push down bearish some more. We're still in this no man's land. We've been here for a while. We've had a lot more bearish candles than bullish over the last 3 weeks. We talked about that. And yeah, it's just really interesting if we see this roll back down. Now, we did close this gap, not quite to the close price of this day, to the open of this day, but we have retraced for this being a bullish gap and go, retesting back into this gap or filling that gap to the candle high. That's happened. And so, that kind of thing usually you see happen before it has a bigger move. Even though it's a bullish gap and go, it's allowed to retest. It does that. Just like you had a retest here for this bullish gap and go, it retested into the high of this candle. So what I'm trying to say is there's, even though it looks like there's so much more bearishness that could come down lower, we've done kind of what we need to do to, allow that bearishness to play out. If it does continue lower, great, let's get in bearish. If somehow it can gap up tomorrow or the next couple of days and clear some of these levels here, especially if we can get up way above here, up into like 1830s, probably even clearing the 21, could really see it run from there. And you'll see this bearish momentum drop much more rapidly if it does that. And then obviously always we can just go sideways. So we're kind of playing out a little bit right now below the 1815, kind of opposite of this, where we were above it and into these lines. So we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see how this is going to move. If there's going to be a gap, that's going to give us some direction and trap some people. But right now we've got 5 bearish candles in a row, and we didn't go down. We had 5 bearish candles in a row here, and we went down significantly. We had 5 bearish candles in a row here, kind of finishing off this uptrend. We went down slightly. These 5, we've actually gone up from this open to this close. We're relatively flat, but slightly up. And so that just, to me, that just means there's a lot of bears that are in. And if we gap up, we'll trap a lot of people. We've already gapped up the last, 2 days prior to today. And, we are definitely trapping people. It's just more bears are getting in, or people are adding to their positions. And so it feels like there's going to be a bearish squeeze coming soon. The squeeze bears out, cause more buying, and we're still making higher lows on a bigger picture. And we put in the low here. This is a higher low. This is still a higher low. until something shifts and we take out this low, making this into a much bigger double bottom. I'm sorry, much bigger double top. But we really need to take out that low and keep going. If we come down and take out the low and then bounce, that just makes this into a really nice distribution. And we're just going to channel in here for longer. Or potentially that'll be the secondary pullback to this and just continue to rally. Just let the resting come in, and then we'll be probably at new all-time highs relatively soon. So it would honestly be great to have a retest back into this level and bounce because of how long we went sideways in here. And we retested kind of too far, and it catapulted us higher, and we retested quickly here. This is a bit of a slower retest, and that might be all it is. But we've been in this area before where there's just a lot of indecision, a lot of back and forth, and it's just a matter of waiting it out. So be patient and just watch the intraday charts to see how it's moving, how to play it, and hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.